Right, time to put my left glove on and then we'll go. Not getting cold for this video. Right, ready to go, let's do this. I just remembered I need to do my thumbnail, but I'll think about that for later. But for now, let's get into this. I have thought about calling this video something about specifics and no longer telling myself I can't. So I'm getting to specifics first. This workout was extremely challenging, especially during maybe the middle section of the workout, well after the warm-up. Or did we? I'm not even sure we did a warm-up this time. No, from memory, I don't think we did. I was speaking to him about this yesterday, about warm-ups and cool-downs, and he was saying that he believes that stretching before he made me warm up for the most part. I don't think he did today, but that was rare. That's rare. But you say, as for stretching in particular, he thinks that you'd be doing that to overcompensate sometimes, but as you'd be finding out where your weaknesses are, you just become more loose naturally as you find out where your weaknesses are and as you learn how to use all your muscles properly. So yeah, I didn't do any stretches. I certainly didn't do any after the session was done. You could see I was absolutely finito, absolutely tired, and I mean it is a challenging workout that he made me do. Speaking of, going into this first part of the title of this video, talking about specifics, I think the way to be able to get far, if we're talking outside of having coaching to help, would be to have specific numbers or things to hit to be able to aim toward, rather than like how I do with no structure at all whatsoever and no specific number or aim to hit. For example, in the session that we had, he made me get to 55 RPM on the bike, and he was aiming for me to get 10 calories on that bike, just to really push myself. I think, I'm not really sure, I didn't ask him why I was doing it. I was just, at that point I was feeling way too tired to be asking a whole load of questions specifically about why we're doing what we're doing. That I didn't ask. I just wasn't thinking of that at the time. It was way too tough to be having those sorts of thoughts, I think. But having an equivalent to that could really help me with achieving stuff in general, whatever things I'd like to achieve, whatever that might be. Giving myself specific numbers or extremely specific aims to hit, and a specific rate to try and aim for them at. For example, productivity wise, maybe a certain number of tasks a day, or to get certain things done by a certain time, a certain number. That might really help me with moving forward. Now I'll see how that goes. And to move on to the second part of the title now, saying I can't. My wording for this, I think, is like how I said during a workout, during a snatch. It was to say I was finding it difficult, but I decided to tell myself that I have to stop telling myself I can't, even though I didn't say that word for word. I hear my parents say that a lot, and I think that's where the mindset would come from. Very, very, very poor mindset. Obviously, there's financially poor, which my financial state is at the moment. Will soon change, but actually I've remembered something, but I'll go on to that later. As with my financial state, as I say, with certain places, for example, my mindset could be, I could be in a mental poverty at the moment, which I'm now getting myself out of. Metaphorically speaking, I'd be earning money in this regard and learning how to manage my finances, metaphorically speaking. So I'm on track to no longer being mentally broken, like how I'm on track to no longer being financially broken. I'm just on the way to becoming a much healthier person, honestly, with the help of that coach. And now that the 4th session's done, that means you got to move forward from here. He's still in the middle of getting the contract sorted. He said he did give me an update saying that, but he doesn't have anything new to update me with in that regard. So I'm just waiting. And he said that he wanted to speak to me in person about it. Not a problem whatsoever. We'll get that done. But for now, I'll aim to do that weightlifting class that he was talking about. That will be happening tomorrow, and that I can make a log about. But exercise wise, I'll be doing some other stuff outside of those sessions. But going back to the weightlifting session that will be happening tomorrow, within the session, I'd be just checking my weightlifting form. It wouldn't be a cardio sort of weightlifting session like how there are some classes that are a lot more cardio based and really having as my coach might say, a gassy workout, like really tough, like you're sprinting, that sort of feeling in your sternum there. It was from lactic acid build up. That's what it is. I think that cardio class, that was something. But this weightlifting class isn't that. It's a lot more about technique, he said. So we'll go there, and I'll see how it goes. I wouldn't record though. Not everything's to be recorded. Just like how these coaching sessions, I'm not going to record those coaching sessions, no matter how valuable I think that they would be long term. I don't need to record everything. Plus, I think the people around me deserve privacy, because they don't know that I'd be recording these sorts of videos. The people around me deserve privacy, I think. So just based off that, for anonymity reasons, I wouldn't be recording those sorts of videos where I'd be learning how to coach. But when I'd be doing the moves and I'd be talking about the moves, eventually when I do more CrossFit moves on camera, it'd be obvious that I know what I'm talking about, or I'm starting to know, I'm getting to know, with not only the theory experience but also the practical experience behind it, backing it. And I combine both of them together, so you see me working out and then I do voiceovers behind them, or something like that, like updating myself, updating on what I'm thinking mentally during the session live, and then going back to the voiceovers, like how I've done quite a few of the daily logs / weightlifting logs in the past, back when I had that series going on. Yeah. But alright, going back to what I was saying with the I can't message. Obviously I can, and when I started telling myself that up front, explicitly, word for word, my emotions were starting to become more fluid with the snatch and the clean. It was difficult though. My coach Alex, he kept on trying to get me to push my elbows up during the clean in particular, to get it basically so that the bar's touching my neck, just below my Adam's apple. And because I was feeling so tired, I found it difficult to do that with both hands, of course, and to also lift up all the way like that. Man, I don't think I'd show it fully developed. As I'd be learning the CrossFit stuff and perfecting my moves, I'd be showing that on camera, and I'd be developing it, just like how I'd be developing my calisthenic skills, which I would show during these daily logs. Yeah. Also, I'd like to talk about, so that's basically this video done, but there's some extra things outside of those topics that I wanted to talk about, which I'll just put an "and more" in the title for, and that would be for pull-ups. I wanted to talk about pull-ups. Using the resistance band has really helped, and also hold on. yeah, as I was saying before someone was shouting for their dog, the resistance bands for the pull-ups have really helped. I'd be using the large ones at the moment. They've got a black one which I've tried today, and I think that was too heavy and providing too much resistance to the point where I found it unnecessarily difficult to fully extend my legs as I was trying to do a pull-up. I don't think I'll use that band again. I'd instead use a lighter one. So they've got one that's they've got a light green band which is more thin slightly, but with this one I can extend my legs completely and go for the pull-up fairly easily, very easily, I must say. I think in my head the number that I came up with was 7. I thought I could do 7 when trying to feel for that pull-up with the new grip that Alex has taught me to have. So instead of using the other side of my knuckles, so basically on the other side of my knuckles over here, I would grip the bar like that, but really I'd want to use my palm and put my thumb over the bar during pull-ups. That way I'm not using basically finger strength to pull myself up. I'm instead grabbing my hand over the bar and using forearm strength. That way I'm actually using more muscles that'd be able to pull me up with more ease compared to the other form that I just showed. So with that and the help of the resistance band, I think I'm well on the path to be able to make very solid progress with the pull-ups. All I have to do, I think, is just like how Alex has done, have some structure to the workout, and for him it seems like that's the whiteboard, and maybe he has, I don't know this, but maybe he has some system where he writes on the whiteboard, and then he has like a journal of every session that he's got. Maybe on the phone he'd take a picture of it when he's done, or maybe you'd write it down on a laptop or on a book journal or something like that. Very basically have a place somewhere to log down all of these sessions that he'd be doing. I think having something like that for me would be very helpful. That way I know exactly what I'm doing and what I have done during these sessions. I'd be able to plan them out. I don't know how that I'd be able to do that effectively yet, but I can really work on it and make some solid progress with all of my workouts, because without structure that's just not going to happen. I've done so many sessions without structure and just trying to learn how to do calisthenics moves, and that worked for then, but with CrossFit sessions, or for example, seeing as I've been wanting to lift heavy because I've seen other people do it, that's just not, a lack of structure is just not going to work. Hitting specific numbers, even if I do adapt the workout, is just that would help me a lot more than say just coming in and not knowing what I'm doing. Going out my way to hit specific numbers. In the case of weightlifting, that I think that would be PBs would help me a lot more than just going in with no structure, no plan, basically of the no plan with regards to the exact moves that I'd be doing that day, like no journal of the sort of moves I'd be doing and how many sets, how many reps of the moves I'd be doing. I'm really not helping myself out there. I'm doing the very opposite. I think I'd be holding myself back by doing that, because I haven't given myself the necessary guidance to be able to move forward. However, with Alex, that's a different story. He gives me a lot of guidance, plenty of guidance. And it also seems like he's letting me just break how much I need to break, and he's not telling me to hurry up or to slow down. It's just, I just say ready when you are, and then from there he just takes me through the exercise. I think he understands that some people need different recovery times, honestly. I think he could understand that, but he's not explicitly telling me that he understands that. He just lets me do my thing and lets me recover as much as I need. I know I'm not pissing about with the recovery, so when I feel ready to do it, I do it. It really is as simple as that. After this session, I was telling him, after he gave me a spud from all the effort that I put in, but it was obvious. I was panting, and I was bent over panting, like basically breathing for my life. He could see, although he did ask, he didn't need to ask how I was feeling. Speaking of, he was constantly checking throughout the session if I was feeling okay, how my arms, how my legs, he would be saying, and they were basically always all right. If I did feel any pain, like right here during the session, as I was doing the push jerk, I let him know, but I haven't, it was never intense, and it went away during the session, so I think I'm okay. But yeah, he was always checking in. Very solid coach, and because it seems like I might be moving soon, within a year maybe, I'd have to really get as much coaching as I possibly can before I'd then have to move. It wouldn't be me, it'd be family moving us for reasons I'm not going to explain, but I'm going to do what I can to get as much coaching experience as I can before moving, because I was thinking of saving up a specific amount before moving to the different area that I was thinking of moving to, but because I'm nowhere near that amount yet, and because I'd be on minimum wage, I don't think it'd be possible for me to make, or to have X amount that I've got in my mind to then move for months worth of rent, bills and other living expenses such as travel, food, etc. So there, I said I can't, basically, and I think with this specific topic, I explicitly, word for word, have said that I can't do it, or I don't think I can, which is I can't. And these sorts of beliefs, which people might call self-limiting beliefs, will be a part of why I'll be making this move, even though I don't really want to at this time, because I think I'd be moving out without having the experience that I'd like, and then leaving on my own terms. But yeah, I know Therapy in a Nutshell has videos on self-limiting beliefs. I've watched it before, and watching it again now that I notice the self-limiting beliefs might help me. But anyway, I think I'm done. I'd just like to make a summary. So as for the structure, maybe with like productivity, trying to get things done, give myself a specific amount or like a specific number of things to do by day, within the day, and or give myself specific times or something, a guide of some sort as to when I'd like to get things done, and really follow that. And as for the I can't, I'd say I find it difficult, as like with lifting the weights, due to current lack of strength physically, because I'm building myself up at the moment. That I've got to stop telling myself that I lack, that I find it difficult, or that I can't do it, or I don't think it's possible, or I don't think I can. These sorts of words with the things that I'd really want to do, I'd have to change my wording and tell myself that it is possible, or at bare minimum, at this point in time, I might not think I'd be able to do it, but I can at least give it a go, and I can at least make progress. That I can very easily do. I can make progress. I might not think doing 180 on the bench press right this instant would be a possible task. I don't think it would be possible because of my current level of ability and all the times that I've done the bench press before. But however, if I do allow myself to progress, it's going to be possible. Almost like downloading a game, you start off at 0% and you eventually get to 100% and it's done. I could think of getting to specific weights on the premise I want to hit PBs with certain moves that way. Yeah. But anyway, I think I'm done. I think I want to say, just one last time, with self-limiting beliefs, telling myself that I can't or I don't think I can with, for example, dealing with this move, just life happening, basically telling myself I can't do this or I can't do that would be a part of why I wouldn't reach my full potential, on the premise I keep on allowing this to happen, on the premise I keep on allowing myself to be physically and therefore mentally weak, seeing as mental weakness comes with physical weakness as well. You can't just have one unless you're physically injured. That's a different story, but just on a normal daily basis, no injuries, you can't have just the one. Even if, say, someone thinks that they're dealing with social anxiety or something like that, but they can hit 180 kilograms of the bench press, they've got a certain level of mental strength which other people who haven't done that before might not have. So I'd say even they have at least at bare minimum a somewhat high or somewhat developed mental strength with that physical strength that they've got. That actually, now that I say that, I remember when I came in today, or when I went into the gym today, my coach was lifting 40 kgs on the snatch. Easy. You can see him, he's got the big muscles. Will I be showing his face? Absolutely not. But yeah, he's a muscular man. He's a muscular man, and it's obvious through the coaching that he'd be giving me. It's obvious he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Speaking of, going back to Alex, he said that I'd be able to have a nutrition coach, and he said that he was willing to make a link up with me or something like that. He didn't say that word for word from memory, but it was something along those lines. And I said, yeah, I'm really down for that. I haven't been eating healthily because of the money. I don't have the money, I'd say. And my parents have been saying that as well. Limiting beliefs. I mean, I might not have access to the money right this instant. Yeah, I might have to wait until nearing on the end of March, going on to April, before that universal credit claim will come through on the premise that I don't get the apprenticeship beforehand. But saying I don't have the money, that could be a place where I could start off with my limiting beliefs, because I'd hear my parents say that a lot through, at bare minimum, a lot through my adolescence. A lot. Because survival was the priority, not health. And it's obvious. I don't even have to look them in the eyes to see that. I could look them in their stomachs. You could look them in their physique, and I could see that survival was the priority, not health. These are the parents I have, and although that's how they've lived their lives, I don't have to live my life in the same way. I think my parents are basically a guide as to what to not do in life, honestly. There are some things here and there that I certainly would take, at least for the most part, such as no smoking or drinking. In that regard, they maintain their health very healthily, maybe for the wrong reason, maybe for what I would consider the most healthy of reasons, because it's forbidden, all that religious bullshit. But it's something, it's health maintenance of some sort, honestly. So certain things like that I will be taking. I might try out, just because of why they say don't smoke, don't drink. I might try out because of the pressure I give myself, just to see what it's like and see why would people do this. Maybe once, but other than that, I wouldn't do it. I think I'd probably be disgusted, and I know, yeah, from personal experience, that's what it's like, and maybe that's how it feels. And I don't like the lack of control. I know scientifically speaking, going off topic now, of course, scientifically speaking, you're damaging your brain and your liver through drinking alcohol, and you're damaging your lungs by smoking, and maybe damaging your brain somehow as well. But I don't know how either of them work. I don't know how alcohol destroys the liver and the brain. I know that it does, but I don't know the specific science behind it. Same way I don't know same way I don't know how smoking causes lung cancer, and how it might damage your brain. Obviously, smoke, like cigarettes for example, they've got the carcinogenic chemicals in them, like nicotine, that would harm the lungs, but I don't know how that works. Like getting very specific into science and stuff like that, I don't know. But anyway, going off on a long tangent, I'll certainly make sure that I am healthier, and I don't live like how my parents have lived. I don't want to live like them, or basically be like them whatsoever. I don't want to lack health, and I don't have to. I'm in a space where I can really get it together, as I'm living rent free at the moment. But I'll make sure that that's not the case anymore, because with living rent free, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes to that, such as not having the money, or not having immediate access to the money to be able to maintain my resources, and to gain access to new resources that I think would help me out, to every now and then make not the most sensible financial decisions, and to just maintain me, to allow me to live. And that's a major sacrifice, and it's something that I'd feel constantly stressed about, although I wouldn't be thinking about having to pay rent. That's not something that I have to think about, at least all that much, as I would have once I would have moved out, on the premise that I've got passive sources of income to cover that, whether that be, for example, through weightlifting programs, and whether that be through books of just my life, whatever I want to talk about, how to learn, whatever it might be, just something that I am qualified to talk about, which would be personal training eventually, and online health coaching. And even at this level, I could probably make an ebook or a small guide as to my background and how I got into level 2 gym instructing, and how I'd advise other people to go about it. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm done. Regardless of how much bashing it seems like I've done in this video, I think these sorts of things, whether it be in private and or on camera, they need to be said somewhere, so that I'm giving myself the ability to do what I need to do. So I'm empowering myself, basically. I'm giving myself the permission, which is what empowerment is. Giving myself the permission to do what I need to do, and to live that way of life that I need to live, regardless of how mean it might sound. I need to do what I need to do to be able to move forward. Do I have to word it this way? No. But I'm not here to play nice. I'm here to play honest. And this is me. This is my way of thinking on the situation at the moment. And now that I've been talking about this, I've now made a connection that I don't think I've ever made before, and that's this. Because I'd be soaking up so much anger from those conversations during my adolescence especially, it makes sense as to why I would bully people back in middle school and high school. In middle school, it was a lot more physical, like throttling people around, grabbing them by their shoulders, especially small people. I don't know why that was though. It was one person in particular I remember doing that to. We call him Taylor, and from memory, he was a pleasant guy. He was a funny guy, but I'd throttle him. Same story with a different person in high school who was smaller than me, who I could do that to. or so it seemed anyway. He didn't stop me. Maybe that was a part of it, that word in there that just came out automatically. Maybe that was a part of why I take it out on them, because these people in particular who I've mentioned, they didn't throw me back. They didn't try to swing at me back. They didn't protect themselves from me. And similarly so, back at that age, I didn't protect myself from my parents, and I didn't stand up for myself through defending my corner. I just stay silent. It's an idea that I've heard from Daniel Mackler, for example, called selective mutism. I'd stay silent during those conversations, and I panic up. I freeze up sometimes. Like one time when my dad slammed on the table, I froze up. And from soaking up all of that anger, I take it out on other people, especially during school. Not everyone, but that would explain why I felt so angry and why I acted the way I did. Because of my response to what was going on at home. Things weren't okay at home. From time to time, they weren't okay at home. And I just escape from that reality by playing video games. As a child, I really enjoyed them, but as an adolescent, I enjoyed them less, and I was playing them more so out of habit than fun, because I was doing that as a kid and watching all those Vanos videos and Dahi Denogla videos, etc., to complement it, because I was overshooting a whole lot. And to be fair, I was overdoing on the computer and online because I was underdoing at school and at with maybe even friendships at school, for example. Even though I did have quite a few friends, especially during high school, even though I might not have thought I was at the time, I was well known. And not with a bully sort of reputation either. I could carry myself well. I know how to speak to people in a way that I'd want to be treated, but with some people, I'd take the piss out of them, the absolute piss out of them. These people that I mentioned, I would, especially the guy in high school that I'm referring to, I'd mock the fuck out of him so much, and it was abuse. I abused him, honestly, straight up. That was straight verbal and physical abuse that I was giving to that guy. Very honestly, it was a lot of abuse I was dishing out. And when even I get a little back, not from him, but from someone else in particular who did actually dish back what I was dishing out, I immediately stopped, like instantly. And maybe, I wonder, with the things that my dad has done in particular, and maybe even my mum too, maybe they'd be the same way, or maybe they wouldn't, because they'd see themselves as more than me, because I'm their child, basically. Therefore, I'd have less of a say, especially as the youngest in the family. For example, I wouldn't be able to even go into the bigger room, which was once my sister's, just off the fact that I'm the youngest, of things I can't control. I just would not be able to go into the room that I'd be using as mine, even though it was originally my sister's. And I wonder if I, at this time, was at school, I wonder if I would have taken it out on other people without even realizing it and without connecting the dots. Yeah, I definitely need anger management. I don't even necessarily need to go to classes at the moment, but to just learn more about it and to know how to control my emotions more, and to how to defend myself from sorts of situations or things that I don't want to go on, and how to speak for myself, especially when talking to my parents during like maybe arguments or something. Like when my dad would insult me a lot, calling me a petulant child, I have to be willing to speak up and defend my corner and to not take that, which I did do once, but he was shouting at me a lot when he did, which I don't mind. That's something that I'd have to accept, and has a perception like with driving is something that I have to do there as well. If worst comes to worst, call the police. Simple. Not that I think I'd ever have to, but he has threatened my health and safety before by getting up to very close to my face and saying, it's either I hit you or you hit me. Now afterwards he said that he would do that, but he could fuck off with that bullshit. That's not a threat you should make to a child. His child, you know. With the way how I said it, I probably imagined that I'd be quite seething, because I said it quite calmly with like an undertone of anger there. I could see, even with the way how I just pulled my face, I can sense it. There's an undertone of anger. I've probably been seething for years, and when I let myself loose, I'd be abusing people straight up. Abusing people who I think were physically weaker than me, smaller and less broad. Yeah. But anyway, I think I'll leave it at that for now. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable expressing myself. I need to. With these sorts of videos, especially one time with that I don't want to get girls, I want to get healthy relationships video, I felt less comfortable expressing myself honestly. There, I wasn't sure if I wanted to make that video, but with this one I felt completely comfortable saying certain things. Because it's time I allow myself to become stronger and stop saying I can't, like how especially my mum would say. Even up to this day, that's probably one of the main reasons, outside of her feeling so comfortable attacking my self-esteem, would be why I just would not voluntarily be around her often, honestly. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm feeling hungry, and if I were to talk anymore, I'd probably make my throat feel sore or something like that. So I'm out. Cheers to living healthier, man. Peace.